ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
This is ADBN News. The headlines. President Bola Tinubu prioritizes pressing domestic issues over 79th UNGA attendance. Delegates roll to Vice President Shettima. While Senate President Godswill Akpabio calls for unity amongst party as he distributes fertilizer for agricultural enhancement while pledging development for Akwa Ibom State. Federal government mandates enforcement of 70,000 naira minimum wage implementation as private employers seek clarification. And on the foreign scene, Canadian government introduces stricter language requirements for postgraduate applicants, reduces international student permits to 10%. In sports, Team Delta emerges as champions as the 8th National Youth Games concludes. Good evening and welcome. I am Chijoke Okafo. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Vice President Kashim Shettima to lead the country's delegation to this year's 79th United Nations General Assembly session in New York. A statement signed by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, says following his recent return from China and the United Kingdom, President Tinubu has decided to focus on pressing domestic issues, particularly addressing the aftermath of the recent devastating floods in Borno State. Vice President Shettima at the UNGA 79 will deliver Nigeria's statements to the General Assembly, participate in key sideline events, and engage in bilateral meetings. The high-level general debate at the forum has leaving no one behind, acting together for the advancement of peace, sustainable development, and human dignity for present and future generations as its theme. It will take place from Tuesday 24th September to Saturday 28th September 2024. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to fostering a robust financial system and a business-friendly environment aimed at attracting foreign direct investment. This commitment comes as the Coca-Cola Company disclosed plans to invest $1 billion in Nigeria over the next 5 years. The disclosure was made during a meeting in Abuja with Coca-Cola's global leadership team, including President and Chief Financial Officer Mr. John Murphy and Chairman of the Nigerian Bottling Company, Ambassador Segun Akpata. President Tinubu praised Coca-Cola for its enduring partnership with Nigeria and its contribution to the economy, including the creation of over 3,000 jobs across 9 production facilities. The president highlighted that private sector partnerships are crucial to his administration's broader reforms aimed at enhancing the business climate. He also assured that the government will continue to collaborate with Coca-Cola to expand investments in Nigeria and tackle environmental issues, including climate change. Meanwhile, Mr. John Murphy, while presenting Coca-Cola's business overview, revealed that the bottling company generates 350 billion naira annually through nearly 300,000 customers and contributes almost 90 billion naira in revenue to the Nigerian government. He also noted Coca-Cola's focus on sustainability, water packaging, and community support. CEO of Coca-Cola Hellenic Bottling Company, Mr. Zoran Bogdanovic, attributed the company's confidence in making the $1 billion investment pledge to the supportive government policies. President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has reassured the people of Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District of his commitment to improving their various lives through various development initiatives, including the construction of rural roads, provision of electricity, healthcare centers, and other empowerment programs. Senator Akpabio made this pledge during the official launch of the All Progressives Congress campaigns for the 2024 local government elections in Akwa Ibom State. Adbn's correspondent David Isong completes the report.
With the local government elections fast approaching, political activities are in full swing. Senator Akpabio, former governor of Akwa Ibom, joined APC supporters to kick off the campaigns ahead of the October 5th, 2024 election. Accompanied by the National Assembly members and party leaders, Senator Godswill Akpabio highlighted his ongoing empowerment projects, including the construction of 42 roads and the establishment of modern markets across the state's 31 local government areas, along with healthcare centers and other infrastructure development.
Let me start by formally launching the Back to Farm initiative. We call it GOA. That's Godswill Akpabio Back to Farm initiative. I'm starting that with 600 bags of fertilizer per local government. 600 per local government. Among the many projects that you are going to have, because I'll come back so that we render account. I know at least 151 projects are currently ongoing, but you have more than that. You have at least 14 ICT centers under construction, which we are going to commission for your use. In this regional district, for example, every local government has a modern backend being constructed right now. Every single local government.
Senate President Akpabio further appreciated President Bola Tinubu for his endless support to Akwa Ibomites, further reaffirming his dedication to his constituents and the people of Akwa Ibom.
I want to stand in this mammoth crowd to appreciate the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, for the various appointments he is already churning out affecting Akwa Ibom children at the federal level. Those in support that APC should take over the election say, I want you to shout so that the President will hear you that the local government autonomy that is beheaded is working in Akwa Ibom. Are you going to win the local government election?
The chairman of APC in Akwa Ibom, Obong Stephen Churepu, after the Senate President's speech, presented the party's chairmanship candidates from all the 31 local government areas with flags, symbolizing the formal commencement of their campaign mandate.
I thank His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for expeditiously granting us this venue. And having thanked him, it goes to demonstrate the fact that his collaborative spirit has indeed given every son and daughter of Akwa Ibom State a place in this government. And we tell God Almighty to bless the executive governor of this great state for doing what everybody expects him to do. He is a good man. Today, we are very privileged to live in a generation that uncommon personality in the person of Dr. Godswill Akpabio is alive and active. Generation unto generation, we always have one leader. And today, he has stand tall to identify with great leaders of the time past that indeed he is ready to take us to a fulfilled land.
David Isong, Adbn News.
In a related development, Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio has urged the former All Progressives Congress APC EXCO members in Akwa Ibom State to dissolved by a court order in March 2022 to follow a leader who has the interest of the people at heart with the ability to better their lives. Senator Akpabio, who is the leader of the party in the state, made this statement during a reconciliation meeting led by Senator Ita Enang, Chairman of Akwa Ibom State APC Reconciliation Committee, with the dissolved EXCO members loyal to former National Secretary of the party, Senator John James Edodehe in Uyo. The Senate President emphasized that political parties should focus on fostering development rather than creating conflict. Senator Akpabio thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for fighting for local government autonomy, which will bring government closer to the people, while reiterating his commitment to transforming the lives of the people through progressive legislation. Party state officers, including Mr. Kufre Akpan, Mr. Obong Kufre, and Elder Mrs. Rosalind Enyang, also expressed their continued support for the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, and the APC. Also present at the reconciliation meeting was the Senator Eteng Williams, representing Cross River Central Senatorial District, alongside APC party stalwarts in the state. Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment has cautioned employers in the private sector that the 70,000 naira minimum wage is now required by law, and that any failure to comply may result in legal action. Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment, Alhaji Ismaila Abubakar, represented by the Director of Employment and Wages, Mr. John Nyamali, conveyed caution at the 13th Annual General Meeting of the Employers Association for Private Employment Agencies of Nigeria in Lagos. Alhaji Abubakar highlighted need for private employment agencies to ensure workers are not paid below the 70,000 naira minimum wage. In response to this directive, President of the Employers Association for Private Employment Agencies of Nigeria, Dr. Olufemi Ogunlowo, called on government and Nigeria Labour Congress to clarify if the 70,000 naira minimum wage is a net or gross amount. He emphasized that while the association is committed to implementing minimum wage and preventing exploitation of workers, clear guidelines are necessary for proper implementation. Meanwhile, Chairman of Nigeria Labour Congress, Lagos State Council, Ms. Fumilayo Sesi, has expressed concern over viability of the new minimum wage given the current economic realities. Ms. Sesi, however, urged private employers to adopt the new wage structure, noting that NLC will enforce compliance. Moving ahead now, Inspector General of Police IGP Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun has ordered the immediate redeployment of the Commissioners of Police of Rivers State Command, Delta State Command, and the Federal Capital Territory. Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, in a statement, explained that the redeployment is to strategically place a police force well efficient for effective policing. The order covers the redeployment of CP Rivers State Command, CP Olatunji Disu as the new CP FCT, CP Delta State Command, CP Abani Wanda Olufemi as the new CP Rivers State Command, and CP FCT CP Peter Okpara as the new CP Delta State. Inspector General of Police, following the approval of the Police Service Commission, has also deployed 4 CPS as Commissioners of Police for Abia, Lagos, Ebonyi, and Akwa Ibom State Commands. The deployment includes the posting of CP Danladi Nda to Abia State Command, CP Olarewaju Ishola Olawale to Lagos State Command, CP Antonia Adaku Uchianya FDC to Ebonyi State, and CP Festus Eribo to Akwa Ibom State Command. The postings, according to the statement, reflect the mission of the IGP to strategically reposition the police force and ensure maximum utilization of human resources available to the force. The The IGP, however, urged the new CPS of state commands to ensure diligence in the discharge of their lawful duties and adopt innovations that could mitigate security challenges in their respective areas of responsibility. He further encouraged them to key into the police reform plans, which will help the progress of the Nigeria Police Force and the growth of the country in general. Meanwhile, Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, has tasked graduating cadets of the Nigerian Defense Academy to be ready to meet the high expectations of the country by bracing up to execute what is expected of the force in resolving contemporary security challenges. Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, in a statement, explained that Air Marshal Abubakar also enjoined the cadets to be determined to make a difference, not only through bravery in battle, but also by mastery of tools and innovations that are reshaping modern warfare. The Air Force Chief's charge was contained in his remarks at the Nigerian Defense Academy 2024 beating of retreat and prize-giving ceremony at NDA Parade Ground, Afaka, Kaduna State. Air Marshal Abubakar, according to the statement, reminded the graduating cadets of 71 regular course and direct short service courses, 28 Army and 32 Air Force, that considerable resources had been invested into building their capacity and shaping their character development through quality military training and a sound academic foundation. The chief therefore called on the cadets to always put the nation first and give their best in the defense of their territorial integrity and protection of the people. Meanwhile, Air Marshal Abubakar had earlier inspected ongoing infrastructural projects at the Nigerian Air Force Base in Kaduna, providing strategic guidance to ensure qualitative and timely project outcomes. He also toured newly upgraded facilities at the NDA Air Force Wing, where he lauded the improvements aimed at supporting the training of future officers. Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency has alerted residents of flood-prone areas to relocate immediately as water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon has been released into the rivers Niger and Benue. The agency identifies 11 states that are at high risk of flooding due to this release. Now, these states are Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Edo, Delta, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross Rivers, and Rivers State. NIHSA Director General Architect Umar Muhammad, speaking during an interview, emphasized the gravity of the situation. He stated that the water from the Lagdo Dam is being released in phases to allow River Benue and River Niger to contain the volume of water and prevent catastrophic flooding. NIHSA's Director of Operations and Hydrology, Pastor Femi Bejide, said the situation is currently calm, but water levels are rising. The agency says they have submitted a report to the presidency recommending the desilting of dams across Nigeria to mitigate future flooding risks. Meanwhile, federal government has also urged states downstream of the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon to implement flood control measures to prevent potential loss of lives and property. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Nnaji, while making this appeal at a news conference in Abuja, addressed recent earth tremors in Pape, FCT, and flood risks across several states. Chief Nnaji highlighted that the Lagdo Dam's overflow has significantly impacted land in Nigeria, noting that from 1st July to 31st July, around 137 hectares were affected. By the end of August, the affected area had expanded to more than 2,000 hectares, and by mid-September, it had surged to a staggering 18,737 hectares. The minister advised states including Kogi, Edo, Delta, Rivers, and Bayelsa to activate flood control measures urgently, as the government will continue to monitor the situation and provide regular updates. Now, on the recent earth tremor, Minister Naji says the government is analyzing data from seismological and global navigation satellite system stations to offer recommendations to the FCT administration. Director General of the National Space Research and Development Agency, Dr. Matthew Adekpoju, assured that the agency is closely monitoring the situation and will implement measures to address seismic risks. He emphasized that space science and technology play a crucial role in managing natural disasters. Dr. Adekpoju therefore urged the FCT administration to limit drilling and mining activities in Mpape to avoid exacerbating seismic activity, as human activities can impact fault lines. Away from that story, National Examinations Council has released the results of the 2024 Senior School Certificate Examination. Speaking at a press conference in Minna, the Niger State capital, Registrar and Chief Executive of the National Examinations Council, Professor Dantani Wushishi, described the result as the best in recent times. According to him, 1,376,423 representing 706,950 males and 669,473 female candidates registered for the examination. Of this number, 1,367,736 candidates eventually sat for the examination. Professor Wushishi said 828,284 candidates represented 60.55% goal at least a credit in 5 subjects, including English language and mathematics. The previous year, he said similar percentage of the candidates recorded a similar feat. Now, the registrar gave the breakdown of the number of candidates with special needs as 1,542. NACO registrar said a total of 8,437 candidates, as against over 12,000 in 2023, were involved in various forms of malpractice during examination, which showed a reduction of 30.1%. Meanwhile, the release of the results by NACO may have opened a new door of opportunity for admission seekers into tertiary institutions across the country. Now, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu, has emphasized urgent needs to empower the less privileged afflicted by poverty in the society. He made the emphasis at the launch of the End Austerity in Nigeria campaign in Abuja, which featured public discourse on ending poverty and inequality in the country. Senator Bagudu, in a message to the occasion, said this would ensure thriving opportunities for the less privileged in a contemporary society. Adbn's correspondent Edidion Ebanga tells us more in this report.
Represented by Director of Macroeconomic Analysis in the Ministry, Mr. Felix Okonkwo, Senator Bagudu underscored the impact of poverty in fueling terrorism, insecurity, and unemployment. He urged citizens to take shared responsibility in addressing poverty and inequality across the nation.
Addressing poverty is essential not only for economic growth, but also for preventing conflict, insecurity, and mitigating the effects of climate change.
Country Director of Action Aid Nigeria, a non-governmental organization, Mr. Andrew Mamudu, provided alarming statistics during the event. He regretted that country's debt burden has increased by 300% between 2010 and 2020, reaching 31 trillion naira. This figure, he further regretted, in 2024 reportedly rose to 91.4 trillion naira, highlighting the pressing need for immediate action.
Nigeria's socio-economic landscape has shifted dramatically, with consequences that have been particularly harsh on the most vulnerable members of our society, women, children, and the poor. According to our latest research, we have the 133 million persons that is living in multidimensional poverty.
In a presentation, Lead Director of Center for Social Justice, Barrister Eze Onyekpere, discussed negative impacts of austerity measures on poverty and gender inequality in the country.
Austerity measures is like salvation. To be born again is a personal decision. And I told him that in his family he's already practicing austerity, because he's no longer driving cars the way he used to because he can't afford them. Possibly you may have downgraded the schools your children are going from the 500,000 one to 200,000 or to public schools. That's austerity.
Mr. Mamadou also advocated for transformative solutions, urging key stakeholders and development partners to collaborate in addressing country's challenges. Didion Ibanga, Adbn News.
Elsewhere, Court of Appeal in Abuja has approved a request from both the federal government and former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, to settle out of court an appeal challenging his removal from office. This development follows results that both parties are intensifying efforts to reach an amicable resolution regarding the dispute. Justice Onogen was removed in 2019 by former President Muhammadu Buhari while facing charges at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. During Thursday's proceedings, Dr. Ogu Onoja, SEN, counsel to Justice Onogen, informed the three-member panel of the Court of Appeal of the Appeal Court that discussions for a peaceful settlement were ongoing. He noted that both parties had met as recently as Wednesday and expressed optimism about a positive outcome. Now, Dr. Onoja requested a one-month adjournment to finalize the settlement. Meanwhile, counsel to the federal government, Mr. Tijani Ghazali, confirmed this submission and supported the request for an adjournment to facilitate an out-of-court resolution. Justice J.O. Oyewole, presiding over the proceedings, directed both parties to document and file the terms of the settlement before the next court date. The matter was adjourned to 4th November for the potential adoption of the settlement as the court's judgment. Now, it will be recalled that Justice Onogen was prosecuted in 2019 for false declaration of assets at the Code of Conduct Tribunal, found guilty and removed from office. He was also ordered to forfeit the undeclared assets to the federal government. Dissatisfied with the judgment, Justice Onogen appealed, seeking to overturn the decision that led to his removal and the forfeiture of his assets. You're watching ADBN News at 7. Remember, you can watch us on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. Stay with us for more stories coming up after this break.
Welcome to the world where innovation meets opportunity, where ideas become empires. This is Market TV.
I am Idorian Flannan, and every week I'll be taking you inside the dynamic world of marketing and commercial business.
From groundbreaking startups to big businesses, Market TV brings you the best pricing and latest goods on display.
It's all about understanding your audience and staying ahead of the trends.
Witness the creative processes that drive the various brands.
Join us as we dive deep into the strategies that shape the commercial landscape. From streets to traditional advertising and social media, we cover it all.
Whether you're a seasoned professional or an aspiring entrepreneur, Market TV provides the insights you need to thrive.
This show gave us the tool to turn our vision into reality.
So, if you're ready to master the market, tune into Market TV every Saturday at 6 p.m.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people they talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to Ona? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top Adbn TV.
You're welcome back. Nasarawa State First Lady Hajia Silifat Abdullahi Sule has called on women to maximize the impact of a 50,000 naira grant under the Renewed Hope initiative. Launched by Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the initiative is designed to boost the business of petty traders across the state. Our Nasarawa State correspondent, Mary Ojiji, was at the launch and now reports.
The ceremony held at the Aliyu Akwedoma Banquet Hall in Lafia saw 1,000 women from Nasarawa's 13 local government areas receive the capitalization grants. Hajia Silifat Abdullahi Sule expressed her appreciation to Senator Oluremi Bola Tinubu for fulfilling her promise, noting that the funds would significantly improve the beneficiaries' livelihoods. Wife of the Deputy Governor, Sheila Tosan Akabe, advised the women to carefully manage the funds, emphasizing the need to differentiate between capital and profit to ensure sustainable business growth.
Be able to differentiate between capital and profits. Don't use it to make soup for your dear husband in the house. And when you use it, what happens at the end of the day? It finishes. And we're back to square one, isn't it? So please, for the petty traders that we are stretching out to and all the other beneficiaries from the different groups, there are a lot of different groups here that have been captured by excellency. In the economy, we all know it is tight, but for now, yes. But we laugh at the end of the day by the grace of God.
Other key figures, including the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Hajia Aisha Rufai Ibrahim, Head of Civil Service, Abigail Waya, and Commissioner of Finance, Munirat Abdullahi, praised the initiative and urged the beneficiaries to utilize the grants responsibly.
Also thank Her Excellency, the First Lady, for creating an enabling environment for the women of Nasarawa State to benefit from this very important program.
No matter how small or how big you might think it is, it can be grown into something big. And we believe that with the caliber of women that we have in Nasarawa State, we'll be able to grow it into something that will benefit not only you, but the entire people of Nasarawa State. So I congratulate you.
Her Excellency, the wife of the President, the First Lady of Nigeria, has looked at women and said that she would not leave us behind. And she come back to our rural communities through our First Ladies to identify the most vulnerable amongst us, to empower you. And in doing that, you're contributing your quota to the development of this country. So do not take this lightly. Take this as a very kind gesture, but as an empowerment for you to be able to do your best to make Nigeria a better place.
One of the beneficiaries, Kairat Aliyu Uneshi, a graphic designer, said she plans to use the grant to purchase a new computer, which will help expand her business.
This money, seriously, I'm really happy about it. And only thing I can tell Her Excellency is that I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
The event also featured the presentation of cash to the beneficiaries and a colorful display of cultural dance. Mary Ojiji, Adbn News.
National Sugar Development Council has commenced talks with the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry for potential collaborations aimed at mobilizing about $5 billion to drive investments in the sugar subsector. The proposed agreement followed the visit of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Mr. Emeka Ebegolu, SEN, to Executive Secretary of NSDC Mr. Kamar Bakrin in Abuja. While welcoming his guests, Mr. Bakrin shared the history and mandate of the council, as well as the destination and the direction it must take to get there. Mr. Bakrin, in a statement, explained that the council's target is to be able to produce 2 million metric tons of sugar annually, which covers the current annual consumption of about 1.8 million tons. The NSDC boss said a key aspect of the master plan was the mobilization of the right kind of funding. He said the planned partnership will witness attraction of credible players into the sector to embark on sugar production. Now, on his part, the ACCI president said they were in the council to seek the sort of partnership and collaboration that will add value to the mandate of the NSDC. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Kwara State has mobilized over 3,000 personnel across all 16 local government areas to ensure security during the local government elections scheduled for Saturday, 21st September. State Commandant Omar Mohammed revealed this in Ilorin. He detailed that personnel have been dispatched from the state command, area commands and divisional offices to cover every polling unit in the state. Commandant Umar emphasized that the NSCDC's role is to foster a safe and peaceful election environment free from violence, intimidation and ballot tampering. He assured that any attempts to disrupt the electoral process will be met with swift and decisive action. Now, NSCDC's special units, including Operation Harmony, the Counter-Terrorism Unit and the Female Squad, will be actively patrolling to bolster security. Additionally, the Anti-Vandal Unit and Critical National Assets and Infrastructure Department will oversee the protection of government assets during the election. The Civil Defense Corps urges political parties and citizens to cooperate fully with security measures to ensure a smooth and peaceful electoral process. While Kano State Governor Engineer Abba Yusuf has dissolved the interim management committees across all 44 local government areas. This move comes as the committees conclude their 6-month tenure. Governor Yusuf, commending the committee members for their dedication and contributions, revealed that the committees worked closely with the state government to implement grassroots policies and programs during their 6-month tenure. The governor expressed gratitude to the outgoing committee members, stating that they played a crucial role in assisting the state government in its efforts to bring development to the grassroots. He assured them they would not be sidelined in future engagements for the state's benefit. Kano State Governor has directed that the management of local government affairs be handed over to the directors of personnel management in each local government area. The directors will oversee operations until the upcoming local government election scheduled for 26 October 2024. Governor Yusuf emphasized the need for transparency and adherence to regulations in their new roles. Now, away from Kano, University of Maiduguri has disclosed the appointment of Professor Muhammad Laminu Bele as its new Vice-Chancellor. The decision, revealed yesterday by the university's governing council through a statement from Registrar Malam Ahmed Lawan, follows a thorough and competitive selection process. The appointment is effective immediately. Malam Lawan praised Professor Mele for his outstanding academic and leadership qualities, noting that his appointment is a well-deserved recognition of his contributions. With over 20 years of experience in English language and linguistics, Professor Mele is a renowned scholar whose career spans teaching, research, and community service. Previously, Professor Mele served as acting Vice-Chancellor and Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Central Administration at UNIMAID. His new role is anticipated to bring notable advancements in research, innovation, student experience, and community engagement. Professor Mele hails from Mafa local government area in Borno State. He is a dedicated family man, passionate about reading, mentoring young professionals, and engaged in charity work. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has officially transferred regulatory oversight of the electricity markets in Kogi State to the Kogi State Electricity Regulatory Commission. The move, which was disclosed via NEC's website, is in accordance with the amended Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electricity Act 2023, which decentralizes electricity regulation in Nigeria. Under the new arrangement, NEC will continue as the central regulator overseeing interstate and international electricity generation, transmission, supply, trading, and system operations. States are now authorized to regulate their intrastate electricity markets, provided they establish the necessary legal and institutional frameworks. Now, as part of the transfer order, Abuja Electricity Distribution Company is required to establish a subsidiary within 60 days from 13 September. This subsidiary will manage the intrastate supply and distribution of electricity in Kogi State and must secure a license from Kogi State Electricity Regulatory Commission for these activities. The statement says all regulatory transmissions are to be completed by 12th March 2025. Lagos State government has sounded the alarm over the imminent collapse of a building at the Mopol 20 barracks in Onigbongbo, Ikeja. Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, in response, is set to commence an emergency evacuation and demolition of the old Block 3 section of the barracks. LASEMA's Permanent Secretary, Dr. Damilola Oke Osanyintolu, in a statement issued yesterday, disclosed that the agency's response team had assessed parts of the structure and found them to be in precarious state. He further mentioned that LASEMA will implement a response plan that includes assessment, safety, and orderly evacuation and controlled demolition of the affected buildings. Under the directive of Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, the preemptive demolition is being carried out to mitigate potential secondary incidents that could arise if the situation remains unaddressed. Dr. Oke Osanyintolu urged residents in the vicinity to remain calm and avoid spreading misinformation on social media. He assured the public that the situation is being closely monitored and managed. Away from Lagos to Enugu, the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Mbah, has declared that political correctness would not hinder the fight against insecurity in the region. While attending the 2024 Standing Committee meeting of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion held in the state, he reiterated his administration's commitment to enhancing social infrastructure, alleviating poverty, and significantly boosting the state's economy. Governor Mbah says he is aiming to position Enugu State amongst Nigeria's top 3 economies and achieve a 0% poverty headcount index. He acknowledged that these targets would require dedicated efforts, emphasizing that security is a crucial foundation for progress. The governor highlighted recent actions, including the termination of an illegal sit-at-home order imposed by criminals, as evidence of his administration's resolve. Dr. Mbah also disclosed plans to implement a real-time surveillance platform in the state capital, combining human oversight with advanced technology for enhanced security. He called for continued support from the church and citizens to help realize the state's potential, acknowledging that while the journey may be challenging, the rewards are promising. You're watching ADBN News at 7. Watch us on DSTV channel 258, on StarTimes channel 140, Avo TV app, Limex World TV app, and Niger TV app. For more stories, visit our website on www.adbntv.com. More stories coming up right after this timeout. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of resilience, a journey of hope. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on Adbn TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
Into the heartbeat of the world, where news meets real talk. From breakthroughs in diplomacy to humanitarian challenges and scientific milestones, Global Digest takes you beyond the headlines and straight to the heart of the matter. I am Amma Marcus. Be a part of the world unfolding stories at 3 p.m. on ADBN, channel 258 on DSTV, and StarTimes, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
Well, welcome back. Turning our attention to the foreign scene, Canadian government has unveiled a series of immigration reforms set to take effect in 2025, including a significant reduction in international student permits and stricter regulations for foreign workers. These changes aim to safeguard the immigration system while supporting the country's economy recovery. Canada will reduce the intake of international student permits by 10%, dropping the target from 485,000 in 2024 to 437,000. Now, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Mr. Mark Miller, emphasized the importance of these reforms, stating that the action is to strengthen temporary residence programs and roll out a comprehensive immigration plan to meet the demands of changing landscape. In this new policy, master's and doctoral students will now need to submit a provincial or territorial attestation letter with their student permit applications. About 12% of the permit allocation will be reserved for these students, acknowledging their significant contribution to the Canadian labour market. Member of the House of Commons of Canada, Minister Randy Boissonnault, had stressed the need to prioritize Canadian workers, stating that the temporary foreign worker program was designed to address labor shortages when qualified Canadians were unavailable. Starting 1st November 2024, applicants for postgraduate program will need to demonstrate proficiency in either French or English. University graduates must meet a Canadian language benchmark level 7, while college graduates are required to achieve a CLB level 5. These changes aim to make the program more selective and align it with Canada's evolving labour market goals. Turkey is set to meet separately with Somalia and Ethiopia in its ongoing efforts to resolve a dispute over Ethiopia's agreement to lease a stretch of coastline from Somaliland. Turkey's Foreign Minister, Mr. Hakan Fidan, disclosed plans to hold separate talks with Somalia and Ethiopia after Ethiopia's lease agreement with the breakaway Somaliland region led to a diplomatic rift. Turkey has previously hosted 2 rounds of negotiations between the countries, but a third round, initially scheduled for this week in Ankara, was cancelled. Minister Fidan, speaking to Anadolu news agency, emphasized Turkey's commitment to mediating the conflict. He mentioned that Turkey continues to engage both countries at various diplomatic levels and expressed optimism about reaching a solution. The aim now is to hold one-on-one discussions to narrow differences before bringing the parties together for direct talks. The controversy began in January when Ethiopia agreed to lease 20 kilometers of Somaliland's coastline in exchange for recognizing the region's independence. Somalia condemned the deal as illegal, subsequently expelling the Ethiopian ambassador and threatening to remove Ethiopian troops from its territory. These troops have been pivotal in Somalia's fight against Islamist insurgents. Though direct talks have not yet resulted in a resolution, Minister Fidan noted that progress has been made in aligning the positions of both sides. The situation in the Middle East continues to intensify, with tensions between Israel and Hezbollah escalating. Israeli forces have launched new strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, and the region stands on edge. Adbn's diplomatic correspondent, Amma Marcus, brings us the latest developments.
The Israeli military announced it had launched fresh attacks on Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. This came just before Hezbollah leader Syed Nasrallah was set to give a highly anticipated speech, the first since a series of explosions destroyed Hezbollah communication devices. According to Israeli military, Hezbollah has transformed southern Lebanon to a combat zone. In response, Israel's chief of staff has approved plans for heightened security measures along the northern border. During his address, Nasrallah condemned what he described as deadly Israeli attacks that crossed all red lines.
Israeli enemy has actually targeted many of the pages. It has been exploded at the same time. The enemy has actually crossed over all the red lines. It has not paid attention to anything, not ethically, no humanitarian, nor legal or lawful. The explosions were happened in hospitals, inside hubs, in hospitals, because some medics were carrying them, in pharmacies, hospitals, in markets, in shops, in houses, in cars, in the streets, where many civilians were there, along with women and children.
Hezbollah confirmed that more airstrikes resumed later in the day, further raising concerns of an all-out war. As tensions escalate, the world watches closely for what would be a pivotal moment in the Israeli-Hezbollah conflict. Amma Marcus, Adbn News.
Now in sports, Team Delta has been crowned champions of the 8th National Youth Games, showcasing an impressive performance with a total of 111 medals made up of 46 gold, 31 silver and 34 bronze. The announcement came during the closing ceremony held at the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba on Thursday. Following closely behind, Team Lagos secured second place with 26 gold, 20 silver and 19 bronze medals. Team Edo claimed third position, earning 18 gold, 13 silver and 28 bronze medals. With this victory, Delta remains the only state that has won the competition since inception in 2013. 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory participated in the games, which started on 9 September 2024. Nigeria's Super Eagles remain in 39th place globally, according to the latest FIFA rankings released on Thursday. Let's join our Abuja sports editor, Samuel Adeleke, who has details of this and more.
Despite earning 4 points from their recent 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda, the team did not improve its standing. In Africa, the Eagles sit 6th, trailing behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, Ivory Coast and Tunisia. Algeria, Cameroon, Mali and the Democratic Republic of Congo round out the continent's top 10. Leading the global rankings is World Cup champion Argentina, followed closely by France, Spain, England and Brazil. Meanwhile, the 2024 National Women's Basketball League will resume with its second phase from 22nd to 28th September in Enugu and Abuja. 16 teams that participated in the first phase will compete across various centers in the Savannah and Atlantic Conference. First Bank Basketball Club dominated the Atlantic Conference, winning all their matches in Akure, while Customs basketball team achieved a similar feat in the Savannah Conference held in Lafia, Nasarawa State. The national finals are scheduled for 13th to 19th October at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium in Surulere, Lagos. In more sporting news, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has confirmed that star winger Bukayo Saka is fit to play against Atalanta in their Champions League opener on Thursday night. Saka had raised concerns after limping off during the London derby against Tottenham. However, captain Martin Odegaard will miss the match due to an extended injury absence. Arteta described Atalanta as a challenging opponent, highlighting their unique playing style ahead of the 8 p.m. kickoff, marking the first competitive clash between the two sides. Still in football, former AC Milan manager Stefano Pioli has been appointed by Saudi Pro League club Al Nassr. Al Nassr, captained by Cristiano Ronaldo, sacked Portuguese coach Luis Castro earlier this week after the team's slow start to the season that has seen them win just one of their 3 league games. The Italian tactician led Milan to the 2021-2022 Serie A title and was subsequently named the best coach of the season, and also guided Milan to the semi-finals of the Champions League in the 2022-2023 campaign. Pioli has plenty of experience coaching in Italy, having managed Lazio, Inter Milan and Fiorentina, but this will be his first time managing abroad. Away from football, British boxer Daniel Dubois is facing intense scrutiny as he prepares to defend his heavyweight world title against Anthony Joshua at Wembley Stadium this Saturday. Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, has voiced concerns about Dubois' ability to handle the pressure of such a high-profile event, despite Dubois' previous experience in a stadium setting against Alexander Usyk. The matchup is expected to draw a crowd of up to 96,000 fans, posing a significant challenge for Dubois in his quest to claim victory. Samuel Adeleke, Adbn Television News.
Well, with that report, we wrap up Adbn TV News tonight. Remember to watch us live on DSTV channel 25.